One of the biggest myths about managing blood sugar is that you have to stop eating fruit altogether. I've heard people say, "Doctor, fruit has sugar, so I don't eat any anymore." At first glance, that sounds logical, but our bodies don't respond to every food in exactly the same way. An apple isn't the same as a candy bar. A handful of berries isn't the same as a slice of cake. The difference isn't just the amount of sugar, it's what comes with it. Fiber, water, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, all of these work together to influence how quickly your body absorbs glucose. And that brings us to our next food. Food number 6, berries. If there were a beauty contest for blood sugar-friendly fruits, berries would almost certainly be finalists. Blueberries, strawberries, blackberries, raspberries. Each one offers something valuable. They're naturally sweet, yet relatively lower in sugar than many other fruits, while providing fiber and a wide variety of plant compounds known as antioxidants. Imagine two people eating dessert. One chooses a sugary pastry. The other enjoys a bowl of fresh strawberries with a spoonful of plain Greek yogurt. Both satisfy a sweet craving, but the second meal provides fiber and protein, which generally help slow digestion and promote fullness. That's a completely different nutritional experience. Research continues to explore how berries may support overall metabolic health as part of a balanced eating pattern. They're not medicine, they're not magic, but they're certainly a smart choice for many people. Why color matters. Have you ever noticed how deeply colored berries are? Those rich reds, blues, and purples aren't there by accident. They're created by natural plant compounds called anthocyanins. Scientists have spent years studying these compounds because they're associated with antioxidant activity and may contribute to overall cardiovascular and metabolic health. Think of antioxidants like a cleanup crew. Every day, your body produces unstable molecules called free radicals. Too many of these molecules over time can contribute to oxidative stress, which is linked to aging and many chronic diseases. Eating a variety of colorful fruits and vegetables helps provide the body with protective compounds that support overall health. Another reason berries work well is their versatility. Add them to oatmeal, mix them into plain yogurt, blend them into a smoothie with protein, or simply enjoy them as a snack. Small choices repeated consistently often matter more than dramatic changes that last only a week. A woman once told me, "I stopped buying fruit because someone online said it was as bad as candy." She missed fruit terribly, especially blueberries. After speaking with her healthcare provider and learning more about balanced nutrition, she gradually reintroduced modest portions of berries into her meals instead of eating them alone in large amounts. She paired them with yogurt or a handful of nuts. Several weeks later, she smiled and said, "For the first time, healthy eating doesn't feel like punishment." That sentence has stayed with me, because sustainable habits are the ones you can actually enjoy. Healthy eating shouldn't feel like a life sentence. It should feel like taking care of yourself. Food number 5, leafy green vegetables. Now let's move to something that rarely gets exciting headlines. Spinach, kale, Swiss chard, collard greens, romaine lettuce. These foods probably won't become social media sensations, but they quietly deserve a place on almost every healthy plate. Leafy greens are naturally low in calories and digestible carbohydrates while providing vitamins, minerals, and fiber. They're also rich in nutrients such as magnesium and vitamin K, which play important roles in normal body function. One of the easiest ways to improve a meal isn't necessarily eating less. Sometimes it's adding more vegetables. Think about your dinner plate. If half of it contains colorful vegetables, there's naturally less room for highly processed foods that often provide lots of calories without much nutrition. That simple visual strategy has helped countless people create more balanced meals. The power of fiber. Let's pause for a moment because fiber deserves more attention than it usually gets. Imagine you're driving toward a busy intersection. One road has no traffic lights. Cars rush through at full speed. The other road has carefully timed signals that keep traffic moving steadily. Fiber works a bit like those traffic lights. It helps slow the movement of food through your digestive system. Instead of nutrients arriving all at once, they enter more gradually. That slower pace can help support steadier blood sugar responses after meals. Unfortunately, many adults eat far less fiber than recommended. Highly processed foods often remove much of the natural fiber found in whole grains, beans, vegetables, and fruits. That's one reason building meals around whole foods can make such a meaningful difference. Don't just eat a salad. Now here's where many people accidentally sabotage a healthy meal. They order a salad. That sounds wonderful. But then comes sweetened dried cranberries, candied pecans, honey-glazed dressing, crispy fried toppings, large portions of croutons. By the time everything is added, that healthy salad may contain far more added sugars and refined carbohydrates than expected. Instead, try building a salad around simple ingredients: fresh spinach, mixed greens, cucumbers, bell peppers, tomatoes, avocado, grilled chicken or salmon, a sprinkle of nuts or seeds. Then finish with a light vinaigrette made from olive oil and vinegar. It's colorful, satisfying, and packed with nutrients. A simple dinner transformation. One retired couple shared a habit that completely changed the way they approached dinner. Instead of asking, "What meat are we cooking tonight?" they began asking, "What vegetables are we having tonight?" It seems like a tiny shift, but it completely changed how they planned their meals. Vegetables became the foundation. Protein became the companion. Highly processed side dishes gradually became less common. Within a few months, they told me they felt more energetic, were eating fewer packaged foods, and looked forward to trying new recipes instead of repeating the same meals every week. Healthy eating doesn't have to be complicated. Sometimes changing one question changes everything. If you've noticed something about today's foods, it's this: none of them are expensive. None require a specialty health store. None promise miracles. They're ordinary foods, prepared thoughtfully, eaten consistently. That's exactly how long-term health is built, not through perfection, but through repetition. One good choice today, another tomorrow, and another the day after that. The next food on our list surprises almost everyone because for years it was unfairly criticized. Some people still avoid it because they believe it's too high in fat. But modern nutrition research has completely changed the conversation. And once you understand why, you may start looking at your breakfast and even your sandwiches in a very different way. One of the biggest nutrition myths of the past few decades was that all fat is bad. For years, grocery store shelves were filled with products labeled fat-free or low-fat. People believed they were making healthier choices, but many of those products quietly replaced fat with added sugar, refined starches, or artificial ingredients to improve the taste. The result? Foods that looked healthy on the label, but often left people feeling hungry again just a short time later. Today, we understand something much more important. Not all fats are created equal. Some fats play an important role in a balanced eating pattern and can actually help create meals that are more satisfying. That brings us to our next food. Food number 4, avocados. If you've ever walked past the produce section wondering whether avocados are too fatty, you're not alone. Many people still hesitate to buy them because they hear the word fat and immediately assume it's unhealthy. But avocados are very different from foods that contain large amounts of saturated fat or trans fats. They're naturally rich in monounsaturated fats, the type of fat often associated with heart-healthy eating patterns. Why does this matter for blood sugar? Think about eating a plain slice of white bread. Most people digest it fairly quickly. Now imagine eating that same meal alongside avocado, vegetables, and grilled chicken. The combination of healthy fats, fiber, and protein slows digestion, helping create a meal that is generally more satisfying and often produces a steadier blood sugar response than refined carbohydrates alone. Notice something important. We're not saying avocado lowers blood sugar like a medication. We're saying it helps build a balanced meal, and balanced meals are one of the foundations of healthy blood sugar management. Here's something many people underestimate: hunger. When people constantly feel hungry, healthy eating becomes much harder. Imagine trying to avoid cookies while you're starving. That's a battle most people eventually lose. Meals that include healthy fats, fiber, and protein tend to keep many people satisfied longer than meals built mainly around refined carbohydrates. That doesn't mean you should eat unlimited amounts. Portion size still matters. But adding healthy fats in reasonable amounts may help reduce the urge to snack constantly throughout the day. I once spoke with a retired gentleman who ate almost the exact same lunch every day: 2 slices of white bread, processed deli meat, a handful of potato chips, and a sugary soda. By 2 o'clock every afternoon, he was hungry again. He assumed something was wrong with his metabolism. Instead of overhauling everything overnight, he made a few simple changes. He switched to whole grain bread, added sliced avocado and tomato, replaced the soda with sparkling water, included a side salad instead of chips. Within a few weeks, he told me, "Doctor, I'm not constantly thinking about food anymore." That wasn't because avocado performed magic. It was because the overall meal became more balanced. Sometimes the answer isn't eating less. Sometimes it's eating smarter. Healthy eating isn't about removing every gram of fat from your diet. It's about choosing better sources of fat more often. Alongside avocados, foods like nuts, seeds, olive oil, and certain fish can all contribute to a heart-healthy eating pattern when enjoyed in appropriate portions. Remember, nutrition isn't about one superstar food. It's about how all the pieces fit together. Food number 3, beans and lentils. Now we've arrived at the food I believe is one of the most overlooked on today's list. In fact, many people walk past it every single week without giving it a second thought. Beans, lentils, chickpeas, black beans, kidney beans, cannellini beans, split peas. These humble foods rarely appear in flashy advertisements. They're not expensive. They aren't considered trendy. Yet, nutrition experts have been recommending legumes for decades. Why? Because they're packed with something your body loves: fiber. And they're also a naturally good source of plant protein. That combination makes them incredibly satisfying. Why they deserve more attention. Imagine you're building a campfire. If you throw on a pile of dry paper, the flames shoot up quickly and disappear just as fast. But if you use solid pieces of wood, the fire burns more steadily. That's similar to how many balanced meals work. Highly refined carbohydrates may produce a quicker rise in blood sugar. Meals that include fiber-rich foods like beans often digest more gradually. This slower digestion can help support steadier energy after meals. That's one reason beans have remained a staple food in many cultures around the world for generations. Long before anyone talked about blood sugar, people simply recognized that these foods were filling, affordable, and nourishing. More than just fiber, beans also provide vitamins, minerals, and plant compounds that contribute to overall health. They're versatile too. Add black beans to salads, mix chickpeas into roasted vegetables, prepare lentil soup on a cool afternoon, blend white beans into healthy dips, or add kidney beans to homemade chili. Healthy eating doesn't have to become boring. In fact, trying new recipes can make the journey much more enjoyable. Here's something I'd like you to try the next time you go shopping. Walk down the canned food aisle. Notice how many people pass the beans without stopping. Most shopping carts contain crackers, chips, cookies, sweetened cereals, and sugary drinks. Very few contain dried beans or low-sodium canned beans. Yet those simple cans often cost less than many processed snack foods. Healthy eating doesn't always require spending more. Sometimes it simply requires choosing differently. I remember meeting a woman who was trying everything to improve her eating habits. She purchased expensive powders, designer nutrition bars, imported supplements, special drinks advertised online. When we reviewed her weekly meals, something surprising stood out. She almost never ate beans. Not because she disliked them, she simply never thought about them. A few months later, she smiled and said, "I started making homemade lentil soup every Sunday. It became a family tradition." She looked forward to it. Her grandchildren enjoyed it, and healthy eating suddenly felt simple again. That conversation reminded me that the healthiest habits are often the ones that fit naturally into everyday life. One reason so many people struggle with nutrition is that they chase novelty. Every month, there's a new superfood, a new powder, a new supplement, a new trend. But lasting health is usually built on foods your grandparents would recognize: vegetables, fruit, beans, fish, whole grains, nuts, seeds, simple meals prepared consistently. Those ordinary choices often outperform extraordinary promises. And speaking of extraordinary promises, the next two foods are among the most researched when it comes to supporting heart health and healthy blood sugar as part of an overall balanced diet. One comes from the ocean, the other grows quietly on trees. They're familiar, delicious, and backed by years of nutrition research. And together, they complete today's list in a way that brings everything we've talked about into one practical, everyday approach to eating well. By now, you've probably noticed something. None of the foods we've talked about are miracle cures. None promise to erase diabetes overnight, and that's exactly why they're worth paying attention to. Real health isn't built on shortcuts. It's built on daily choices that quietly support your body over months and years. The final two foods on today's list have earned their place because they don't just support healthy blood sugar, they also fit beautifully into eating patterns that promote heart health, brain health, and healthy aging. Let's begin with number 2. Food number 2, fatty fish salmon, sardines, mackerel, trout. These fish are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, healthy fats that have been extensively studied for their role in supporting heart health. Why does this matter if we're talking about blood sugar? Because people with diabetes often have a higher risk of heart disease. Managing blood sugar is only one piece of the puzzle. Protecting your heart is equally important. Omega-3 fats don't directly burn away sugar, but they can be part of an overall heart-healthy eating pattern. Fatty fish are also an excellent source of high-quality protein, and as we've discussed, pairing protein with meals can help many people feel satisfied longer while supporting more balanced eating throughout the day. Don't forget how you cook it. Here's where many people accidentally cancel out the benefits. They order fish, but it's deep-fried, served with fries, covered in creamy sauces, and accompanied by a sugary drink. Suddenly, what could have been a nutritious meal becomes something very different. Instead, consider baking, grilling, steaming, or air-frying fish with herbs, lemon, garlic, or spices. Pair it with roasted vegetables and a whole grain such as quinoa or brown rice if it fits your meal plan. Simple doesn't have to mean boring. In fact, some of the healthiest meals are often the most flavorful because fresh ingredients naturally bring plenty of taste. A Saturday dinner tradition. One couple I met had a wonderful weekend tradition. Every Saturday evening, they cooked salmon together. They experimented with different herbs. Sometimes dill, sometimes rosemary, sometimes garlic and lemon. Their grandchildren eventually began joining them. What started as a healthy meal slowly became something much bigger: family time, conversation, shared recipes. Healthy habits often spread quietly from one generation to the next. Sometimes your children and grandchildren learn more from watching your dinner table than from anything you tell them. Food number 1, nuts, and finally, the number 1 food on today's list. Not because it's magical, not because it's trendy, but because it's practical, versatile, satisfying, and supported by years of nutrition research. Nuts. Almonds, walnuts, pistachios, pecans, peanuts, cashews. Each variety offers a unique combination of healthy fats, protein, fiber, vitamins, and minerals. Many studies have suggested that regularly including nuts as part of a balanced diet may support heart health and healthy blood sugar management. One reason may be that nuts help create meals and snacks that are more satisfying than highly processed alternatives. Imagine 2 afternoon snacks. One person eats a candy bar. Another enjoys a small handful of unsalted almonds with an apple. Which snack is more likely to provide lasting satisfaction? For many people, it's the second option. Again, this isn't because almonds perform magic. It's because the combination of fiber, healthy fat, and protein creates a very different nutritional profile. Now here's an important reminder. Nuts are nutritious, but they're also calorie-dense. That's not a bad thing. It simply means moderation matters. A small handful is often enough. Eating directly from a large bag while watching television? That's where portions can quickly grow without you realizing it. One simple trick is to divide nuts into small containers or snack bags ahead of time. That makes healthy choices easier when hunger strikes. The 3 biggest mistakes people make before we finish. I'd like to share 3 mistakes I see over and over again. Mistake number 1. Trying to change everything overnight. Monday arrives, the pantry gets emptied, every favorite food disappears. By Friday, frustration takes over. Instead, choose one habit, master it, then build another. Small changes repeated consistently almost always outperform dramatic changes that last 1 week. Mistake number 2. Looking for miracle foods. Someone online claims one spice cures diabetes. Another promises one fruit melts away blood sugar. Another sells an expensive supplement. Remember, health isn't found in one food. It's found in your overall eating pattern. The healthiest plate is usually colorful, balanced, and built around whole foods. Mistake number 3. Ignoring everything except blood sugar. Your health is much bigger than one number. Think about your blood pressure, your cholesterol, your sleep, your stress, your daily movement, your relationships, your mental well-being. These all work together. Healthy aging isn't about chasing perfect lab results. It's about creating a lifestyle that helps you feel stronger and more energetic over time. So let's quickly review today's 7 foods. Number 7, oats, rich in soluble fiber and a smart breakfast choice when prepared without added sugars. Number 6, berries, naturally sweet, colorful, and packed with fiber and antioxidants. Number 5, leafy green vegetables, low in digestible carbohydrates while providing vitamins, minerals, and fiber. Number 4, avocados, a source of healthy monounsaturated fats that help create satisfying, balanced meals. Number 3, beans and lentils, affordable, filling, and rich in both fiber and plant protein. Number 2, fatty fish, excellent sources of protein and omega-3 fatty acids that support heart health. Number 1, nuts, a convenient, satisfying snack that fits beautifully into a balanced eating pattern. None of these foods works alone, but together they represent a way of eating that's built on whole, nourishing ingredients rather than processed convenience foods. I want to leave you with something important. If you've been diagnosed with high blood sugar or type 2 diabetes, please don't feel discouraged. Many people believe that diagnosis means their healthiest years are behind them. But I've met countless individuals who improved their eating habits, became more active, worked closely with their healthcare team, and felt better than they had in years. Progress doesn't happen because of one perfect meal. It happens because of hundreds of good decisions made over time. One healthier breakfast, one evening walk, one better grocery trip, one balanced dinner. Those small choices add up, and your future self will thank you for every one of them. If you found today's video helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. It helps more people discover evidence-informed health information like this. If you're new to the channel, subscribe and turn on notifications. Every week, we explore practical ways to support healthy aging through nutrition, sleep, heart health, brain health, blood sugar management, kidney health, and everyday habits that can help you live a stronger, healthier life. And before you go, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 7 foods do you already eat regularly, and which one are you planning to add to your next grocery list? Share your answer in the comments below. I read as many as I can, and your experience might encourage someone else who's beginning their own health journey. Until next time, I'm Dr. Richard. Take care of yourself. Keep making those small, healthy choices, and I'll see you in the next video.